fee resolution for 2012 is supported by the budget that was just passed. That's why we moved the order of the agenda items. And the fees for, I'm just going to cover about 13 million of it right here in one swoop. Water is 4% rate increase across the board. Sewer's 3.5% rate increase. Sanitation 3%. And then the streetlight fee is 5%. And the reason for the higher percentage on the streetlight fee is due to the electrical charges that were increases that were provided earlier in the year. Beyond that, there's fees for the aquatic center, lifeguard training increases to swimming lessons, the aquatic center's picnic table fee. Farmers Market added a new fee for half tent space for walk-on vendors. There are also some building permit fees that increased just by the fact that the publication that we go by is the Building Codes Journal that's published in February. That's done each year. That's the only change. There were some other organizational changes, but beyond that, that pretty much summarizes the building fees. All the rest of the plumbing, mechanical, gas fees, those are all remain the same. And within the engineering fees, there were a few changes there. An engineering monumental agreement fee, legal review fee, that's new. And then the right-of-way vacation request is changed from 300 to 500, which is beyond the 5%. There also there was an increase in that's of note of the comp plans for water, comp plan, sewer comp plan, land use plan. Those three fees are either new or increased. So that's a change. And then there's some incidental engineering fees that increased. Most of the engineering fees stayed the same. Most of the maps stayed the same. In fact, some costs went down because of electronic formatting, but where there's a printed copy, that cost is there. So, garbage rates are changed by, as I mentioned, and there's tables in there. I also might mention the fact that this resolution is found on our city website with the legislative format changes. So those will be on there. So other than that, I'm open for discussion if there's any questions at the end of the public hearing.
Thank you, Don. Council have questions for Don?
I have one for Dwight.
Okay, Dan. Dwight, would you come forward, please?
No, it had nothing to do with dropping the class I was going to take. Zumba dance, I think it was something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just noticed for years that
We have a height restriction. That's why.
that the picnic shelter charge has been $10 for reservation. That's for all day.
Yes.
Where at the pool we charge $6 an hour per table, for rental. Has there been any discussion about raising the fee on the picnic shelters? How many do we have in town that could be reserved, I guess? And how often are they reserved?
Well, I mean, we're talking two very different needs. The picnic tables at the parks, I mean, they're not reserved nearly as often, and I mean, there's just no competition for that. At the pool, though, I mean, we could, if we had 20 more umbrellas and 20 more picnic tables, we could rent those out. And because people want them more often, we need to shorten the amount of time. So,
I just wondered about would there be a significant increase in revenue if we raised the shelter reservation fee?
I wish you'd given me this question earlier. I could have gone back to the records, but there's just not enough there for it to matter, really. It's insignificant even as it is. We could raise it, but you just wouldn't have that much more revenue, though.
I'd like to think about it for next year.
Okay.
Other questions for city staff? before we open the public hearing? Walter?
For Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Dwight.
What is the change in the streetlight fee?
Let me go to that section. It's different for commercial versus residential. And,
Don, while you're looking that up, can I ask a question? Don,
Go ahead.
Of the streetlight fee.
Oh,
sorry.
no, if he can. How about we let him think while he's looking for it there? Okay.
That's okay, I can't find it either. I'm sure it's in
I know,
there.
I was looking for it as well. That's right.
From page
'Cause
16 of
it's
29 at the very top.
16, thank you. All
Oh,
right.
there it is. It's going from $2.90 to $3.05 for a residential unit. And then for commercial units, it's $7.50, and it's increasing to $7.90.
And that reflects, as you said, reflects the cost, our cost of payment to the utility provider.
The increase does,
Increase does.
yes.
So it's a pass-through.
The increase is a pass-through.
Okay, yes.
Now, there is a residual part on the total revenue collections for maintenance of the fixtures themselves, and we allow for some part of that.
Okay. A question, if I may, on the state ordinance that we're doing this public hearing under, it requires a public hearing when you increase fees greater than 5%.
Correct.
In
A lot. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
A lot of these are 3%ers.
Yes.
Some are 2s.
Yep.
Some are less than that. Some probably are huge because you're going from, I'm just making up numbers, from $100 for something in the engineering department to $150.
Sure.
So does the 5% apply to just those items that are going up greater than 5 or greater? Does it apply to the sum total increase of all fees? Or are we just doing it to do it all as one fee resolution and pick up everything at one time, knowing that some of them are greater than 5?
The state statute, and Randy can chime in at any time, is on a per fee or a new fee, okay? So any new fee is part of that public hearing process, and any fee in that's increased by more than 5% is part of that process. Now, the third part of your question is, why do we add all the other fees as part of the public hearing? And I think it's more about education, and it's a good way to have a composite index for all of our fees in one location, and that's what we strive for a long time ago in the legal department and administration of finance. We've had that for a while now. So.
Thank you.
And Gary has something to add to that?
I thought Don did a stellar job in that
I
explanation.
think he did too, and I
Yes,
like
on
the
occasion.
transparency of it as well. Tom had a question about streetlights.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I was just trying to, while he was looking up the streetlights, I think probably the number one question that people have when they get this card in the mail of trying to understand what is involved in this is perhaps the streetlights. Like, well, why am I paying for a streetlight, and what does that go for? And there's not even a streetlight on my street. You know, I mean, so could you just explain
Sure.
what that is so that we
Sure.
can hear that?
We have a streetlight fee that pays for the energy charges for all streetlights, both commercial and residential, within the city limits of the city of Moscow. And all residents and commercial units pay that utility cost so that we can have that. It provides for safety in the intersections. It provides for lighting in the main corridors of the streets, both arterial and laterals. So that's what it provides for. It does not provide for a street in mid-block. It doesn't do that. We've had complaints in the past, and I think the public has been very understanding about that safety need for the intersections.
if I may.
Gary?
It also, we do have occasion that we have streetlights that aren't just at intersections, though they're intended to raise the safety and illumination of neighborhoods, thereby benefiting those individual property owners. So that's the purpose for it. The fee, as Don said, pays for the energy costs, the maintenance costs, the lease costs. A lot of our streetlights in the city, luminaires, are actually the property of Avista, and we lease from them. So it allows us to provide that level of illumination per house, per neighborhood throughout the city.
So Don or Gary, the council and I had a resolution document and the proposed fees on the dais tonight. Are there changes from the one that was in our packets?
Yes. If you look at the changes are in blue. They are, there is a charge, and they'll help me out with the page, for the comprehensive water and sewer plans. Under miscellaneous, I'm being told. Here we go. Page 19 of 29. We do have a charge for our city comprehensive plan. We also have other comprehensive plans, which will be just as thick, as you can tell from the document you received tonight. Reproducing those is expensive. If somebody wants a copy, it'll probably be posted on our website anyway, but if they want a copy, then we charge a reasonable cost for doing that. So
I can
those
sell
weren't
mine.
included in the original.
There was another one too, I think.
Yeah, on page 12 of 29, we added there was a question under monthly charges, University of Idaho. That's an annual charge, not a monthly charge. That was one change.
I think there was a third.
Another one in addition to that.
Oh, right-of-way vacations on 8 of 29, just deleting some language.
Yes, under right-of-way vacation request, the words "cost shall be prorated among property owners receiving vacated land" has been deleted.
Oh, but the amount hasn't changed.
And then the amount is $500 for right-of-way vacation
But
request.
that was already on there.
Yeah, we felt that it was not really relevant how the money was being paid to the city. If the requester brought it in, we didn't need to make sure that it was prorated as long as the
Let them
full fee
figure it
was
out.
paid. So just essentially, very minor changes, but yes.
Okay, and the public has been provided access to this changed document?
There's some here if anybody wants them.
Okay.
But it will be
Anybody-
posted tomorrow.
Okay, anyone who's present tonight would like a copy of that, we'll see, just raise your hand and we'll make sure you get one. Okay. Wayne?
Don, I see, one time we were charging a 3% credit card fee under finance. That's been
Yeah.
eliminated, or did that just get moved someplace else and I missed it?
No, we eliminated it entirely. What happened was we went out for banking services contracts here early in the year to try and reduce our banking charges. And in doing so, in processing the fee, we cannot pass those fees on to the consumer. So a year ago, when we were going through the ordinance, we wanted the flexibility to charge that fee and then go through the banking responses from the different banking institutions that wanted to respond to our RFP. And so we had that flexibility. Once we selected the bank, there was provisions in the bank that they said that we could not pass that fee on to the consumer, so therefore we deleted it. We still have a charge, and that part is absorbed in some of the
Just apply to
costs.
governmental agencies or anybody?
I know that commercial accounts are charged a fee, as we are as well, but as a government, I don't believe we can pass that fee on.
Do you know if a business can pass it on to somebody? Some businesses
Through
will
their-
charge.
Through their product or service.
Walter?
DMV charges 3% to pay for your license plate tabs with a credit card.
Yes, and they can probably use a different vendor than we do.
Why don't they use yours so we don't have to pay the 3%?
When they contact me, I'll be more than happy to provide that.
Pass that
Calling
information along
Susan
to them.
tonight.
Okay. Other questions for city staff before opening the public hearing? Tom?
I just, when you pointed out this, these books, like the comprehensive plan and the water system plan, it made me wonder if there are other large documents like this that should also be included by name, or should we say of a certain size, or?
If I may.
Please.
To tell you the truth, we hadn't really thought about it. The comp plan is something that people regularly ask for, but we've got a comprehensive economic development strategy plan that if someone wants a copy of it, we try to put as much on the web as we can. Not a lot of people want a hard copy. So I suspect now that we've done this, that over the next year we'll identify those. As I said, with digital being what it is, we don't get a lot of requests anyway, but it seems like developers and engineers and those type of folks want to have an actual hard copy of our comp plan, which is why it's traditionally been in there. But, yeah, I suspect we'll change it next year.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
municipal code is another one.
And
that's
people pick that up
online.
offline anymore.
Yes,
Or
you bet.
online, excuse me.
Right.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Walter.
to follow up, if I may,
Please.
with Gary, we do charge the public by the sheet for reproductions of things such as that, so it's not like we give the rest of them away.
No, and, you know, we provide copies to other governments. They like to have hard copies for some reason. Yeah, we have a charge for per-sheet copies. We have a charge as throughout the resolution for large copies through the engineering department, so on and so forth. But
Just not a bulk charge for
no,
specific documents that are bound. Okay.
Wayne?
I'm going to make a motion to approve the fiscal.
No, you can't. You need a public hearing.
Oh, you didn't do that yet?
Not yet. Yeah, ready? But hang on
But
to
he's
that.
ready.
Hold on to that thought, Wayne. As before, I'll invite comments, this time pertaining to the 2012 fee resolution as presented. And we ask that you identify yourself by name and address. Try to be brief in your remarks. With that, I'll open the public hearing and invite your comments. And as before, seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing and it'll open it up to the council's discussion. Wayne?
Make a motion to approve fiscal year 2012 fee resolution.
Second. Okay, we have Wayne's motion and Sue's second. Is there any further discussion? And
I
hearing
just-
none, we'll, excuse me, Dan?
Well, does he want it just read by title and published by summary?
Well, it's just a resolution, so.
Well, I thought
we
this
don't
was,
even-
oh, this
have
is
to
fee
on that.
resolution. I thought it was.
Right.
But he will if you like.
Gary, did you have something else to add to that?
yes, and that was the revised document that was on the dais as we
Oh, right.
talked
Okay.
about in the meeting. Correct.
With that clarification?
The one with the blue.
Wayne?
This one.
Got it.
The
one that was on the
Sue?
dais.
Sue, is that your
Amen.
understanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All
Blue and black.
right.
Yes.
We'll start the roll call vote with you, Tim.
Thank you, Mayor Cheney. Aye.
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 That motion carries also unanimously, and no need to read it, but let me tell you, we have resolution number
2011-10.
2011-10, a resolution of the City of Moscow, Municipal Corporation of Idaho, adopting a schedule of revised fees for services provided and regularly charged as specified by city code, and providing for the effective date of all fees.